So, as a lot of you may already now know, New York put out a video, a quite interesting video about how to survive a nuclear attack. Now, the video was not accurate, and it looks like it was done with maybe $25 for the budget. The video was very poor. If you've seen it, you know. They missed a lot of talking points. The video is only a few minutes long. Don't know how you could tell somebody how to survive a nuclear attack in just a few minutes, especially with the way that this video went. So to summarize it up, it said, nuclear attack just happened, don't ask me how or why. First thing you need to do is get inside. Get inside, yes. That is about one of the only accurate things in that video. The rest of the video is trash. Complete trash. She continues to say, get inside and then stay away from doors and windows. And then step 2 is immediately go to all the doors and windows and make sure they're closed. So let's continue with the video, I guess. The next part was to stay put and listen to the news, and don't go outside until officials say it's safe to go outside. Now, in a nuclear attack, what comes right immediate after, other than damage and devastation? EMP. What are you not going to have access to? What is the average person? So this video is geared towards non-preppers. This video is geared towards the average New York City resident, in my opinion. So they're probably going to be like, oh my god, no, this is horrible, this can't happen, like, I've got to listen to everything this video is. No, calm down. First thing that's going to happen immediately after a nuclear bomb goes off, other than the fireball and the fallout and shit like that, if there even is any fallout, if it was a very low to no yield weapon, then there would be little to no fallout. But let's just say there was. What happens in EMP? EMP, electromagnetic pulse, is going to fry pretty much anything electronic. It's a little different than a solar flare. Solar flare typically fry the grid, not things like cell phones and cars. Anything plugged into your house, probably yes. Cell phones and cars will probably continue to work after a solar flare. EMP is the grid plus everything else, pretty much. We really haven't had a modern day EMP, so we don't know exactly. But that being said, how are you going to pay attention to the news if you have no way to actually hear the news? So, step 3 is probably not really realistic. So what should you actually do? Yes, get inside and don't use a car. That she was correct on. Get inside quick. Don't hide in the car. But there is there's a few things that you should do immediately after getting inside. You need to seal up all cracks to the outside. That includes windows, doors, fireplace, and or wood stoves, anything like that. You should also probably seal up all of your HVAC. So So that would be your vents, your turn, and your output vents for your air conditioner. Make sure all of that is sealed up good. Plastic with duct tape around it would probably be your best bet. That being said, you should have these things to seal up everything before this happens. So make sure you have enough duct tape plus extra to seal up all of your cracks. If you have plastic lining, like plastic sheets, like clear plastic sheets or something. The things that, something that like that Dexter would use on the TV show Dexter. If you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The stuff that he used to keep all the blood contained in one area. Anyways, that kind of stuff. Have plenty of that, just in case you need to seal up everything. And then again, obviously have the duct tape. So your next step would be, you're going to want to strip down, take a cold shower. If you have running water. If you don't have running water, maybe consider storing enough water, maybe 10 gallons, 2 5-gallon buckets for water, specifically for showering if you are concerned for nuclear attack in your area. If you, pinball preparedness, I think it was pinball preparedness did a video on how to make a 5-gallon bucket shower. Go to his channel, watch that, give you an idea. You're going to want to wash immediately after getting everything sealed up. Throw those clothes away in a bag, in a good, hefty bag. Throw them away. Don't touch them again. Don't burn it. Just throw it away. And like I said, don't touch it because there's a possibility that it could have radioactive particles on it. So you just want to make sure you don't have any of that anywhere near you. Probably maybe put it in a room and seal that room off. So you're going to want to wash with shampoo. No conditioner. Wash with, soap, no conditioner. Wash thoroughly with soap, no conditioner. Because the conditioner, I believe, is known to bond radioactive particles with the skin or the scalp. So steer clear of conditioner. Now, odds are, if you live in a city, if you experience a nuclear attack, it's probably a terror attack, not a military attack. Militaries typically are not going to target cities. We know this. Militaries typically will be targeting government buildings, decision-making centers, military bases, and nuclear silos. You're going to want to target those over cities. So if you live in a city, then your odds for a nuclear attack are probably less than you may think. So determine where you are. If you are in a city, then no, unless it's like El Paso, or if you want to call Killeen, Texas a city, then Killeen, Waco, Temple, that whole area, because of Fort Hood. But generally speaking, if it's New York City, then odds are it's not going to be targeted. Not first, at least. So what are you going to want to do next? You're going to want to stay inside for as long as you can. Radiation is going to have a half-life. It's not a very long half-life. So, you're not going to be inside for a year or two. Stay inside for as long as you physically can. But we're all preppers, and I'm assuming you're a prepper if you're watching this channel. So, you should have enough food and water to last you a good while, if not the entirety of the duration that you need to stay inside. The duration is obviously going to depend on how far away from the blast site you are and the direction of the blast. So generally, typically speaking, if the blast happened south or west of you, then stay inside for as long as you can, because that's typically the direction of the wind in North America, is coming out of the southwest, going northeast. So wind would typically start in like LA, and then it would make its way to New York City. Not precisely that's the case, but that's one way you can think of the wind direction. Okay, that's just telling you and giving you an idea of the direction of the average wind in North America. So stay inside. Yeah, stay away from windows. If you've got a basement, then head to your basement after sealing up everything inside and showering. Head to the basement if you have a basement. Stay down there. Make sure your preps are down there. If your basement floods, I used to live in New England and my cellar used to flood all the time. We had a sump pump. If that's the case and you're at risk of flooding, maybe the basement isn't the safest place, because then this is going to create health hazard. But stay underground if you can. And then if you have radio, and if they are broadcasting, then yes, you're going to want to listen to that radio and keep up to date on what they're broadcasting. And if they say that it's safe to go out, wait a little while longer, and then you can go out. A lot of preppers have, or I'm not going to say a lot of preppers, but certain preppers do have hazmat suits with nuclear protection, nuclear radioactive protection. So investing in enough of those for you and your family might not be a terrible idea if you are concerned for a nuclear attack. Where I live, I'm not concerned for a nuclear attack, because where I live, generally speaking, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but generally speaking, I would be safe from a nuclear attack. The closest place that would probably be hit, if at all, would likely be either El Paso or Albuquerque. The wind directions for both of those El Paso would probably be the most dangerous, but considering wind direction, it would likely not affect me. Albuquerque is too far north of me for it to affect me. I'm not saying that for some bizarre chance that it could, because there's always that possibility that, a nuclear weapon could be used in my area, but it's a very small possibility, though it is there, so I do keep it in the back of my head. I don't just dismiss it entirely. Right now, you should be stocking up as much water as you possibly can. Water. I say water because, especially after a nuclear event in your area, the water outside is going to be contaminated. If it was a radiation yielding weapon, then the water outside cannot be trusted. So stock up water, as much water as you can, especially if you're concerned for this. Stock up as much water as you possibly can. Keep it in a cool, safe, dry location in your house or your bug out area or wherever you're going to be storing your water. Cool, dark, dry place. Keep it, make sure, if you want, you can go the extra mile of securing that water in an area where it's near no windows, no doors that lead to outside or anything like that, no vents or anything in that room. protect from nuclear particles if you are that concerned about it, but stock up on water. Guys, remember, it's only 3 days in ideal conditions that you can survive without water. And if a nuclear attack were to happen, you are going to be inside for more than 3 days, I promise you. You're going to want to be unless you have a sudden suicidal intent that I want to go outside and I want to be cooked alive with radiation, and you do you. But for everyone else who does not intend on dying a painful death, stay inside, store lots of water. I cannot stress storing water enough, because again, 3 days without water and then it's over. Those ideal conditions. You live out in the desert. Let's say you live out in the desert like I do, and a nuclear attack happens, and suddenly the power goes out. Now you have no AC, and now it is now it's 100 degrees outside, or it's 100 degrees inside, and it's 115 outside, just like Phoenix was the other day. Then, if you don't have adequate water, you're probably not going to make 3 days if you don't have adequate water. So keep that in mind. Water. That is the most important. One of the most important preps that you can have alongside long shelf life food in self-defense. If it was a major nuclear attack, and let's say now it is safe to go outside, you're probably going to want to make your way somewhere where it is more habitable, because if you have just been affected by a nuclear attack, your area is no longer safe to live in. So determine where the attack was, and determine the wind direction. If it is safe enough to move about outside, maybe now is time to consider going away from where any other nuclear weapons may have been detonated. So keep in mind, the wind comes from the southwest, average. I'm not saying the wind can't go from the southeast, because it has, or come from the north in the wintertime. So keep in mind wind direction and possible other targets in your area. But this is on you to determine where you're going to go, where would be safe to go, because I don't know where you are. I have a very good understanding of the layout of the United States, as I've traveled, almost the entirety of the lower 48. So, determine where is going to be safe after a nuclear event. Stay inside if you've just experienced one. Stay inside long enough. Stay inside maybe, if possible, a week after they say it's safe to go outside. Then after that, find where else is going to be safe to live, and then maybe try to get a bearing on life. Other than that, guys, cities are not likely going to be targeted first in a nuclear attack unless it's a terror attack. I don't really foresee any terror attacks, but then again, that's the thing. Nobody really can predict it unless they come out and say, hey, we're going to do this over here on this day, and that's usually not how that kind of shit goes. Usually it's going to be coming from a different country. If we're concerned about this, it's probably going to be Russia, China, or Korea. And more than likely, at least Russia and China, if they were to attack the U.S., it